Hello, Year 12s. This is an introductory video to the poem Home Burial, which was published in 1914, written by Robert Frost. Some general notes. The poem is in blank verse, so no rhyme has been used in the poem. The title is highly ambiguous. As an introductory idea, I'd like to share with you that it not only means the burial of the son, which is the main topic discussed in the poem, but also it's about, at a more metaphorical level, it's about family relationships and how a relationship can be basically destroyed by an inability to cope with circumstances, and in this case would be grief, because the parents are unable to cope with it, and this is what the poem explores. This grief is experienced very differently by both characters. The realization for the man is the discovery of what actually separates the couple. For him, he wants to desperately let go of his grief, whilst his wife strongly wants to cling to it. Pretty much the end of the story is that the poet wants to tell us that some of the conflicts lack resolution because human relationships are highly complex. Please read the poem before you watch this video, because it won't be read due to time restrictions. Okay, so we're going to stanza 1, and the poem starts with the story of the man and the woman standing both at the bottom and the top of the stairs. She is at the top going downstairs, he's at the bottom going upstairs. The narrative starts in media res, which means in the middle of the action. We do not know what's happened before, but because of this start, it's highly poignant. It shows us that they are immersed in a very awkward situation. They are not at the same level. Physically, there are different levels in the stairs, so the stairs is symbolic of where they're at. And there is a discussion that's happening. As said earlier, the subject matter is the tragic death of their firstborn child, and this is what causes or is the catalyst of the mother's descent into grief. This also leads to marriage breakdown, because perhaps the father's grief is not really acknowledged at this stage. It's at the beginning, it's all about the mother's grief and the problems that they are unable to communicate with each other. This reveals a tension in the relationship. The poet paints a picture of this fractured relationship through their uncomfortable movements and body language, and the very awkward dialogue that happens at the start. This is all shown through the dialogue and where they stay, where they stand in the picture if you were watching them, and it's all a very interesting sort of discovery, how it happens, how it unravels as the story progresses. Now this is a new word here. The word is caesura. What is caesura? This device is used extensively in the poem, and it's a break in the line. It builds suspense. So if I can show you with the mouse there, it builds suspense. So here we have the use of the colon, dash, colon again, dash. Then later on we have use of full stop, not in this stanza, but it builds suspense and conveys awkwardness in this dialogue, in this argument that they are about to have. Now there is a continuous use of the word see and look. So if you see here in this line, it says she let him look. show that he wouldn't see. There is that contrast between the look and the see. The man mostly looks, whereas she sees. There is a distinct difference between perceiving something and understanding something. She seems to understand by what she sees. Now, if we go to the next stanza, we can see that discovery is seen more as wonder. He actually looks out of the window and he starts to see her perspective. What does she mean by "haven't you seen the graveyard there"? The understanding had escaped the persona or the man. Again, we don't really know if this is Frost himself. It might be or not, but he's depicting this fractured relationship in this couple. And he understood once he wondered about the site. So there is a slight discovery there. Ideas are explored through their conversation. The poem uses conversational tone to explore these profound ideas about discoveries in a relationship. Now, if we look at the language analysis, we see the use of the possessive my here. The little graveyard where my people are. It shows that he can now perceive it's his people's graveyard. He's looking at his wife, by contrast, has looked at this frame many times before, obviously, but he couldn't see what she saw. Okay, they have different emotional perspectives to the death of the son. The repetition of "don't" here at the end when he says, "but the child's mound where he lays," she basically says, "don't speak about it, don't," shows how emotionally distraught she is. She cannot even bear the thought of talking about the son's death. Now, the next stanza, we have the discovery through the stairs motif. Again, it's used to signify the distance in their relationship. We see the use as a piece of analysis here, the use of personal pronouns of he and his denote his interest in discussing his own child's death. So we can see the he there, and later on we see the his. Okay. Later on we actually see he starts reflecting about it, and he sits down and fixes his chin between his fists. Now this stance demonstrates he stopped to think about what his wife is trying to convey to him. Now it says, can I speak of his own child? Can a man speak of his own child he's lost? So here he's basically arguing with his wife and saying, you don't want to speak about it, but I really want to talk about what happened to our son, and I want to express my emotions. But his wife says, not you. She cannot bear the thought of him opening up about how he feels about the death of his son. And then she changes the subject. Where's my hat? Because she wants to apparently go out and go somewhere. So here, again, that confrontation is revealed through the use of the not you, okay? In the dialogue, it shows her rejection of her husband's newly gained understanding and the need that he has to speak about this matter. The repetition of short and sharp sentences show her uneasiness to discuss her son's death. I must get out of here. I must get air. I don't know rightly whether any man can. That means I'm out of here. I don't want to talk about it. And I don't think you should talk about it. Now, he sits down, as I said earlier, and he fixes his chin between his fists. That's visual imagery, and it shows that he's not confronting in his attitude. He really needs to talk about it, and it shows through his posture. It shows he's reflecting on it. The broken dialogue reveals their broken relationship. The audience discovers this through the use of fractured sentences there. Okay, now here's the man kind of in the same posture, thinking about it. Now we have a bit of a monologue here, and the discovery is done through the monologue. This form allows the poet to clearly convey the father's anguish he's grappling with after the death of their son, and his attempt to help his wife. Caesura is used again to emphasize how hard it is for him to communicate his ideas, but how determined he is to articulate them, even if it's in a broken manner. Now here we can see the caesura used through the use of the full stop there. Okay, and it makes the reader feel some sympathy for the man. Okay, it really shows he's also distraught, and he cannot understand why his wife behaves in this manner. My words are nearly always an offense. I don't know how to speak of anything so as to please you, but I might be taught. I should suppose I can't say I see now. So he admits he's unable to see her perspective, but he really wants to talk it over. There is a bit of a translation there of the twixt, which means in between. It means individuals who love each other shouldn't need any rules. So he is saying we could have some arrangement. He wants to find a compromise here, by which I bind myself to keep hands off anything special you're mine to name. Though I don't like such things. So he's talking about having rules in a marriage, in a relationship, twixt those that love. Two that don't love can't live without them. So he's saying perhaps we don't love each other, and perhaps we actually need rules to help us communicate and to help us live together in a harmonious way. But two that do can't live together with them. She moved on the okay, and then it goes on and it talks about how she wants to leave the house. And he says, don't go, because basically I really want to talk to you. Tell me about if it's something human. Let me into your grief. I'm not so much unlike other folks as you are standing there. It says there is an analysis there, the contrast between the tell me and let me, and also the use of the imperative is constantly asking the woman to please share how she feels. And it's that call for emotional connection. Okay, I'm going to stop it there, and please click on the next video so that you can get the second part to this analysis of home burial.